hello, Pathfinders. Welcome back to Light the Path podcast. I'm your host, Deborah the Queen, and this is season 6, Closer Than Before. Ooh, we have some great episodes planned for you, and I'm so excited, especially for this guest. I haven't talked about this before, so this is going to be great. And our guest is all the way from Germany, and that's how we're recording today. So today's episode is for the woman who's done with survival. You're just done with it. You're ready to move on and thrive. Susanne joins me to talk about inner child healing, breaking generational cycles, and embracing faith-led softness and sacred power. This conversation is about healing, wholeness, and getting closer than before. Help me welcome Susanne to Light the Path podcast.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for joining us all the way from Germany. I appreciate your time.
Yeah, I'm very pleased to be here, and it's a really important topic, I think, for every one of us.
Absolutely. So you speak to women who are done with survival. What did survival mode look like for you in your life?
So when a person like me goes through inner child issues, like the background by me was for sure, I was born into a family that was heavily in dysfunction. My oldest memories were survival. My father was, addicted to alcohol. I think he had mental issues. My mom was suicidal. She survived, I think, some type of sexual abuse within the family. It wasn't talked about. We talk about 40 years ago. So me as the eldest had the task to make sure mom survives. That was my task. So there was no childhood. There was not the playing. There was not the security of being, connected to God, because I believe when a home, and I'm not talking about religion, but when people don't give God space at home, it cannot be healthy. So survival is something you learn in these families from the beginning. It's almost like you walk on the street and you sense already what energy you have at home. You sense what do they need. But the problem is, the survival is a pattern, because the idea, of course, for a child is you are born into a place. Already in the womb, you experience positive thoughts of the mother, positive feelings of the mother. Whatever she believes about sex, about health, about love, about God, everything else is what the baby already senses. And I was not blessed with that. I was born, I believe, because she didn't dare maybe in the end to abort me, something like that. So survival mode by us means you're not connected to your feelings. You run on autopilot. You feel like I have to do more. I have to I have to work more on myself.
Yeah.
A woman in a healthy feminine is not going to think all the time, what do I need to, to optimize? Can I relax? Relaxing becomes very difficult. In my case, as a child, I learned that I cannot relax at home because it might be that somebody is at risk, so I cannot be present.
Yes. So how did you realize God was calling you to something softer and deeper once you became, an adult?
So I left home when I was 19. Couldn't bear it anymore at home. It got even worse. When I decided to move out, I entered into an abusive marriage, because basically I was thinking, and I think I repeated a pattern. When we grow up with a hurt inner child, let's say the most problematic relationship with, let's say, the other sex is going to define, what kind of relationships you're going to have. So basically, I repeated with that husband a pattern of not being seen, not being emotionally safe and everything, which is the biggest blessing. I have to tell you, I don't understand why I was going through this abusive thing, and I'm not going to say this is good to be in an abusive relationship. By God means no. But if I wouldn't have had this experience, I wouldn't have gotten to a moment where I can't escape it anymore. I had 5 kids with him. Then, of course, a very difficult divorce. I had to take him out with police from home for safety from us, not only from me. And then, I started therapy, and first of all, to become, a person that can feel safe at home. I always claimed, and this is the funny thing, I always claimed I would believe in God, but as long as we are not healed, He cannot come to us. There's just no way. And then I started therapy, and then, after therapy, eventually I started coaching and doing inner child work, which is not comfortable. Of course, it gets really it gets very hard, because when we do inner child work, we not only confront what we have inner child like in pain, but we are directly connected to the inner child of our parents, of the ancestors and everything. So it's like data transfer that you see in beliefs and everything. And it's an ongoing thing, but I think the more I was able to confront whatever, happened in family, also with hypnosis and everything, by help of somebody, the more I was able to say, I allow God now to be present in my life. Not in the term of I have to obey Him, I have to, but I have to I can sit now and say, you know what? I'm gonna have a chat with you, put a candle on, tell you what goes on in my life. And that's beautiful, because survival is loud. You're loud, you're rushing and everything. And when we have healing, and when we can be with God, when we can be present, we can sit in quiet. We don't have to prove to anybody or to anyone anything.
Yes.
I had a conversation with a friend about eventually dating anymore. For years, it was like the right guy and everything. Now I feel like God is my partner. And in addition, if God wants me to have a partner,
Yes,
it's fine. But in the end, the healing of inner child means we can be safe and happy regardless. It doesn't mean, without life. It can be that we can be present in our life. And for me, that was a big breakthrough, because with inner child, it can come to a moment where you have to let go of your parents, where you cannot protect them anymore and keep them alive.
Yeah, that's really a good point, leading me to my next question. Sometimes inner child work sounds uncomfortable. You said that it's uncomfortable. How do you explain this work through a faith-based lens without it feeling unspiritual? Because it's a connection. I mean, we were created by God. So
Yeah.
how do you make this more comfortable when you help other women?
First of all, create a safe space. And very important to express whatever pain is there. Give this space. Inner child healing means that, let's say we all are always inner children. Every one of us, we are inner teenagers. If we're done with the inner child that is healed, then you have the inner teenager that is just fuming and mad. To give it space is very important. I even this year on Christmas was buying myself 2 Barbies, because when I was a child in East Germany, you couldn't get Barbies. And then I thought, if my inner child, if I feel that there is a need to play, to, I don't know, glitter fingernails. I mean, in menopause, this is even crazy. You buy even more nail polish than ever before. Yeah, so to give it space. First of all, talk about what goes on, what went on in the family, and then also we can sit with our inner child and talk. You sit down, you quiet, talk to God. Please guide me in this moment, be there for me. And then when you're relaxed, you can like meditate and connect to your inner child. What goes on? What am I being invited to? What hurts now? Where is she? What does she want to do? And the more we do this, we can sense her. We can even almost see her with an inner child, with an inner eye, or maybe if we have a picture of the child version of us, have her by you. What would you want to tell her? What would you want to parent her as? What would she need now? And I think that is the key for prayer, because if God wants us to be like children, then that means there's an open space. We can always be in that, let's say, bliss of life.
Yes.
No matter what happens, and we can always retreat. We can say daily, I check in with myself. What do I need now?
Mm-hmm. That's really good. So for me, being a former people pleaser, what does the softness look like when you're no longer people pleasing, overperforming, or self-abandoning? What does that softness look like then once you get on the other side of healing?
I dare say you cannot do this without God. God is the absolute non-negotiable number one for anything in life. Soft life means, there was somebody, very helpful exercise actually. The meaning of goal means, number one, G is God-led, O is obedience, A, alignment, and L means love over fear. What does a woman's soft life, let's say, like the dynamics between guy and girl, the man leads, and the woman, I don't want to say it, like submits, like not negatively, she surrenders kind of, but only if it takes a good lead.
Yes.
So if I want to lead a soft life, who is my leader? It's God.
Yes.
I'm obedient to him, but not in terms that I'm less than. But if I allow God to lead my life, then I am in safety. And then I can take, loving lead for my life, align myself with, God's energy. No matter where I am now. Am I a single mom? Is the fridge not full enough? If I'm single or not. God is wherever we have him now in life, and that is the soft life. It's not, putting on candle, put on makeup, and having classic music and jazz music. That's part of it. But
Yes.
the essence is a healthy relationship with God.
Yes, absolutely. So for the woman that's listening right now,
Yeah.
what is one small step she can take today to move closer to healing instead of just coping?
Talk to God. Put a candle on in the morning. Say to him whatever is on your heart. Quiet time, really quiet. Quiet everything down, even if you have many kids. Give him 5 minutes and give yourself also 5 minutes. Because the answer will not be found anywhere. And we cannot, we can chant affirmations, we can listen to thousands of podcasts, but the source is God.
Absolutely. Susanne, thank you so much for doing this episode. It has been thoroughly good. And listen, Pathfinders, sharing our experiences is not only empowering, it can help light the path.